edition of the Startup Central. I'm Nayantara Rai, working from home. This is the only show of its kind on Indian television dedicated, of course, to startups, innovation, technology, disruption, entrepreneurship. If it falls out of the gambit of the new economy, it's here every weekday at 6 p.m. on your favorite channel, ET Now. Well, like all the stakeholders we get on the show, Team Startup Central thrives on constructive criticism. We want to hear from you. Keep writing into us. How should we be doing things differently? Adding new segments, removing what we're doing, shake it all up. Our email address right on top, suc@etnow.tv. Now, we've really seen the startups in 2020 innovate, pivot, take all kinds of measures they used to shy from doing earlier just to stay relevant, just to stay afloat, survive, and then thrive. What we've also seen this year is many new unicorns, more than 12 unicorns in 2020 in India. And our next guest is, in fact, the newest unicorn in India, 10-year-old Zenoti. A SaaS startup has become India's newest unicorn in 2020 after a $160 million fundraise. Joining me to talk about this 10-year-long journey and the next 10 years is the co-founder, Suddher Koneru, the founder and CEO of Zenoti. Thanks a lot, Suddher, for joining us here on Startup Central. Congratulations, you're now in the coveted Unicorn Club. How does it feel?
Thank you. Thanks for the wishes and happy to be here. Well, it's a good milestone for our employees and for the company. I think it's taken us a little bit of time, good context into why it took us time to get here, but things seem to be having the right momentum for our company at this stage.
Unicorn, what has happened is it's following a $160 million fundraise. Who are your newest investors? Did you see your existing investors also double down?
Yes, so the newest investors, a firm called Advent International, which is a large PE player out of New York and the Bay Area, but they also have a growth capital fund which invests in companies. So they were the primary investor at this round, but we did have, doubling down in terms of your reference with both Tiger Global, which was a previous investor, and SteadView Partners. Both of them were the last two investors. They also co-invested alongside Advent International.
Now you tell us, you're the newest unicorn, taken 10 years, and you entered into the coveted Unicorn Club. Would you say 2020 was your toughest year in the last 10 years?
Yeah, I definitely agree. It was, in fact, I was telling my employees just this morning, it was the best of times and the worst of times in 2020 because, COVID obviously impacted our whole industry in terms of shutdowns, and the recovery of our industry has come together fairly well, especially in the US and UK kind of markets largely. I think in India, it's still lagging in terms of the spa industry is only about 20-25%, whereas the salon industry is more closer to 80% recovery. So it has been challenging in that way, but it has also been the best of times because, just like in other industries, COVID has accelerated change in our behavior or adoption of technology. Like we all work from home and suddenly Zoom adoption took off because, which would have taken maybe 3 to 5 years for that kind of an adoption. So even in our industry, in the salon space, businesses were stuck using old school ways of, you collect money using a credit card, the front desk and all that stuff. And we had technology which basically enabled them to go completely contactless, Uber-like, you walk into a store, the stylist can say, I'm done with the service on their phone. The customer's phone gets charged, they pay a tip, they walk out. The whole transformation of the industry would possibly have taken a lot longer, but COVID kind of made people wake up and resonate with our messaging, which said, hey, not only should you have great sanitation and hygiene, but you should also invest in the IT technology. And so that really accelerated. But along with acceleration came a lot of work for our employees because we are, given the size of our company, the growth we saw was well over 100%. And, everyone had to scramble. And working from home was not an easy task for our employees to deliver that kind of productivity.
So, you started off with providing solutions to wellness centers, to spas, Is that the way you still are? And is that the way you're going to continue?
No, we are definitely getting in the core market of spa salon and many spa laser skincare like Kaya and all these things. We are definitely the mainstream and it's growing very well. But we are now started two verticals new. One is, I find it weird, it's pet grooming and pet spas, which is an emerging and big growth industry in the US and worldwide. And the other is more like yoga and Pilates. And all the group classes kind of businesses, we have a new vertical focused on that. Those two have already kicked off, but along with this funding, I do envision us later in the year getting into other verticals like physical therapy or chiropractors, which are very focused businesses, which are large enough on their own right kind of stuff.
So, you have told me how 2020 was for you, but, it's a big moment, right? Becoming a unicorn. Can I ask you personally, and for the Zenoti at large, how important is this milestone? Did you guys ever say, yeah, we're going to be a unicorn, we will have this valuation? Because there are many founders who say that, no, it was not a milestone for us.
No, it was definitely a goal for me. And I mean, the thing which keeps me, going, honestly speaking, is I had a lot of I was blessed to have a lot of people come work with me who have worked with me in the past and believe in the vision of what we want to do. And it was important to me that all these people financially do well. I mean, I personally was fine because I've started before and worked for long enough. And so it wasn't a financial motivation for me. But I think for my group, all the early people, delivering on this milestone was a very important thing because I think we all share a purpose and a brand, our mission, etc. But financial returns do matter for people after putting in all the hard work. And in particular, the technology we built first 2 years, it took a lot of time because we actually have a very deep technology which solves the entire problem for this industry. So there was a lead time to getting to market and all the transformation to get to the US and all that. So, but I'm glad that we are here, and it obviously the rewards are as much for a lot of the employees in our company.
Okay, and when you look back at the last 10 years. Can you share some anecdotes with us? Because there's no, we celebrate the successes, but very often forget to talk about what went into becoming successful, what went into becoming a celebrated unicorn and all of that. What were, many of them have near death-like instances as well. You want to share some of your toughest ones? Because I think they always turn out to be inspiring stories for other founders, other startups.
Yeah. So I would say, definitely happy to do that. And maybe in the interest of time, keep it as brief as I can, is that, the first example I would just say is more about perseverance in terms of, I think a lot of people, I definitely have had experience building a startup before. So have some of my team members, and we come with a lot of deep enterprise software background. But to be really successful, it's not enough to have a great idea and a good market that you're targeting on. You will run into challenges. So we have had our fair share of challenges. In the middle, we launched a whole integrated payment solution for the US markets and the UK markets, etc. And we launched it with a partner, but we did run into some problem at the point with the partner's technology. And we were like really at going to see a significant growth in our business, and we were taking off. And that problem really, messed us up. Just as one example of a problem, there are multiple problems every business goes through. But the point is that I think we were always very perseverant and committed to do whatever it takes to navigate these times. And I think that's the one thing which I would say for success versus not making it is just the perseverance to drive through. That's one. And the second, I would say, in terms of anecdotes, I really believe in this. The one thing which has helped Zenoti, because we actually only focus in the very high end of the business. We focus on brands which have 20 plus outlets earlier, and now with brands which have 3 to 20 outlets kind of stuff. So the bigger part of the market is all the small businesses. And you can easily sell your software to them, and they'll obviously be knocking at our doors. We've always had the discipline to say, hey, keep 70% of the leads who come in, which are not going to fit our profile. We just tell them we are not meant for you. We have the discipline of that. So the best anecdote, I would say, I actually tell this to our employees, don't let customers choose you. You choose your customers. So we have always been meticulous about saying, we will choose who can buy our software. You cannot just come to Zenoti and choose our software. And that has helped us, because if we went down the trap of selling to whoever came along because we needed the revenue, I mean, our company and our technology would have gotten so scattered that we wouldn't have been able to do a good job for any segment of customer very well. With the approach we took, we came through well, and today we have very strong momentum in the high end of the market, where we are kind of almost, I would say, there is no competitor who can match us in the segment that we choose to focus on.
So what's the plan for the next 10 years? You've given me a little hint of it, of how you're going to, get into software solutions beyond wellness centers and spas. But what's the plan for the next 10 years?
Yeah, I would say, so far we've come on a journey where we've clearly demonstrated to many large brands globally that our software can run their business. It is the traditional SaaS software, powering the back end of these businesses kind of stuff internally. We look at our vision for the next 10 years to be completely transform this industry. What I mean by transform this industry is, what is this industry about? When you go into a spa or a salon, you allow people to come into your personal space. They touch you, they touch your hair. And when you walk out, you ask people, how do you feel, right? They don't say, I look pretty, I look, beautiful. They more often than not, they say, I feel confident, or I feel good. And we think this is one of the few industries which actually helps people feel good. So that, and of course, our belief is when you feel good, you go out and elevate your daily life and you find your greatness in life kind of stuff. And so this is a great industry. We love it. Now, what we want to do for the industry is we say, hey, you do a great job of doing what you do, your craft. Continue to get great at it. Leave everything else to Zenoti. When I say leave everything else to Zenoti, it's literally like Uber drivers, right? You don't worry about where you're going to get your next ride. You don't worry about whether the money you got the right tip, or whether it showed up in your bank account, whether it's, what should the price be? Should I charge extra right now, because everybody's busy? You leave it to the Uber platform and the technology and the algorithms. So similarly, we are on our journey towards saying, hey, leave everything to Zenoti. I will decide what should the price be. If you want a haircut with John right now, then, John's really busy. So we're going to present a different price for John. But if you normally want a haircut in the store, you can get a different price. So we're going to make these kinds of AI-based algorithms and other things so that we transform this industry. We maximize the value we can bring to the practitioners in this space, because we do respect the practitioners a lot. What they do is wonderful work kind of stuff. And, so they can just be great at their craft and leave all the mundane aspects of getting their bookings, getting their tips, getting the money in their account, all to Zenoti platform kind of stuff.
So that's Suddher. I'd like to thank you for joining us on this edition of the Startup Central. Here's a big congratulations to you and the entire team. I don't know whether you folks are celebrating on Zoom a virtual party. I have no idea, but it's been great talking to you, and we look forward to many more interviews in the near future.
Thanks for having me here. Yes, we are celebrating virtually on Friday with our team, so looking forward to it. Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a short commercial break, but stay tuned. A lot more coming up for you on this edition of the Startup Central. We're going to be touching base with the large agriculture startup fund. Mark Zuckerberg and Mukesh Ambani were today on the same stage, a virtual stage. What are their plans? Stay tuned.